Good morning and warm welcome to you all. I am Vaibhav, your host for today. Our topic for today is ISO 14971 Risk Analysis of Medical Devices. It shall be taken by Mr. Bhupesh Sood. He shall covering why risk analysis, importance and protocol of ISO 14971 followed by question and answer session. Our agenda for today is virtual inauguration by Dr. Sundar Kataria, invoking the blessing of deity, chanting of Gayatri Mantra, introduction of speaker, presentation by Mr. Bhupesh Sood, question and answer session, and last closing session. About Sadgun Sangh. Sadgun Sangh is conceived and led by Dr. Sundar Kataria, driven with the mission to elevate the quality, safety, and environmental awareness levels of industry. Sadgun Sangh is a series of educative, informative events aiming to illuminate professionals on possible solutions to current issues of industry and economy. About Dr. Sundar Kataria, designation and organization, Chairman and Managing Director, International Certification Services Private Limited. His academic qualification, Doctorate in Business Management, Mechanical Engineer. His experience are Rajasthan Atomic Power Project, India's first nuclear power plant, RAPP, at Rawatbata, Kota, built by Indian engineers, worked as nuclear scientist for 11 years and successfully completed and commissioned the plant. Engineers India Limited, first batch of engineers to develop Bombay High offshore oil and gas fields, mega offshore complex platform, trunk and submarine pipelines, underwater inspection and indigenization, oil and gas equipment, etc. Det Norsec Versatile, world's largest classification society, worked for 17 years at various capacity for the certification of fixed offshore installations, submarine pipelines, onshore projects and personnel qualification, underwater inspection divers. ICS, he is founder of India's first certification conformance assessment body established in the year 1999, provider of total quality solution, certification of management system, ISO, inspection, testing, and training qualification of personnel. His achievements and awards are receive Lifetime Achievement Award for the contribution for the corrosion technologies from NACE International by NIGIS under NACE USA, social worker, protection of life, asset, environmental and safety. So now I request Dr. Kataria to please virtually inaugurate the session.
शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरु त्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Please join us for the recitation of the Gayatri Mantra. Introduction of our today's keynote speaker, Mr. Bhupesh Sood, his designation and organization, lead consultant, followed by trainer and implementer. His academic qualifications are successfully completed transition course on ISO 9001:2015 and ISO 14001:2015, followed by MBA in HR, BSc in forestry. His area of specialization and experience are: he is certified in Six Sigma Green Belt, dedicated over 20 years full-time experience professional with experience in technical reviews, accreditation management, training, operations, recruitment, business development and team building, consulting medical device. Please welcome Bhupesh Sood. Sir, over to you, sir.
Okay. So good morning
Good
to all
morning,
of
sir.
you. I hope you can hear my voice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and good morning to all the rest in the room. So it'll be good if we can see each other. Can we see each other, all of you? And I don't see that. I'm just talking to the screen.
I
Can
request
we
everyone
see
to
your
please
cameras?
switch on your cameras.
Yeah, Mr. Neerav, Akash, Shraddha, then Ramni, Akshat, Mansi, Atul, Omkar. Can you hear us all? Okay, good. I can see Abhishek. Great. Arun is there. Okay. What about others? Okay. So as we start, if you are, means it's camera is optional, but still, I would like you to add or put up your understanding of what is a medical device in the chat box. If you can add your definition. Omkar, Mr. Naim, Milind, Akshata, Mansi. Can you write your understanding of what is a medical device on the chat box? Neerav, Abhishek, let's see who does it fastest. Are people there or just logged in?
No, sir, people are there, sir.
But we don't see any comments on the chat box. Anyone? Abhishek, Neeraj, Akash, Mansi, Milind.
Sir, Machines used for treatment is a medical device. You are getting me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you. Mr. Naim, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Machines
So,
and
Mr. Naim,
along with that, some instruments are also there.
right. So what is your background, Mr. Naim?
I am working as a QMS and EMS auditor and
Mhm.
reviewer also.
At ICS.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we can see some in the chat box. We can see from name, then Ramnik. What is your background, Ramnik?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I am Ramnik from Corporate Channels India Private Limited, Udaipur.
Can you repeat, Ramnik?
Yeah, my name is Ramnik. I am General Manager from Quality from Corporate Channels India Private Limited, Udaipur.
Means you are from to consulting or what?
Quality Assurance.
Quality assurance. Which company?
Corporate Channels India Private Limited.
What products do you do?
Yeah, contraceptive device.
Acha, okay. Great.
So medical device means any instrument used for the human.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, and then we can see not renamed himself. Is on iPhone. All the equipment used by medical practitioners in hospitals as well as used in hospitals.
Yeah.
Can we have a name, sir? And then Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
What is your background?
Sir, I am working from ICS,
Mhm.
IMS, QMS and EMS auditor, and currently I am working marketing manager in the station.
Indore.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. And what about Milind?
Hello,
Yes, Mr. Milind.
myself Milind Kumbhare. I am a microbiologist and working for radiation sterilization of medical devices
At which company?
at this Board of Radiation and Isotope Technology, Department of Atomic Energy. We have irradiation facility where we sterilize the medical devices.
Okay, okay. So you are from AERB?
Not AERB. AERB is a regulatory unit. Ours is this processing unit. This is one of the constituent unit of the
Right. So where are you based, sir?
yeah.
आप कहाँ पे
Navi
based
Mumbai.
हैं?
Navi Mumbai.
Navi Mumbai. Navi Mumbai.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the name of the facility?
This is radiation processing plant, Vashi.
Okay, radiation processing plant.
Yeah.
Okay, what about others? Atul, Akshata, Akash, Shraddha. Suraj.
Yes, sir.
What is your background?
My background, I'm a lead auditor. I'm doing marketing executive.
And based at
Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad,
Gandhinagar. Okay.
Gujarat.
Right. Okay. And I'm from Ahmedabad.
Oh, beautiful, sir.
But we have never met.
Yeah. Shortly we will meet, sir.
No problem. No problem. Anytime. Okay.
Yes.
So for all the people, I understand some of you are already into auditing. And can you just put the name if you are from name of your organization in the chat box, just for so that we know that people are from with different backgrounds. So if you can just put your name of your organization in the chat box. So we can quickly see the fellow friends. We have Sriyali, Achal. So you can just put okay. So we have Naim is from ICS. Okay, Naim. Great. What about others? Abhishek, okay. Yes, Abhishek, we talked. You from ICS. Yeah, okay, Mr. Milind, Navi Mumbai Board of Radiation and Isotope Technology, okay. Sunam from Geotech Salipal. Okay, Sunam, what do you do?
Actually, we are engineering firm. I work
Okay.
as a general manager out there,
Mhm.
and we recently received ISO 9001 2015 certified from ICS
Okay, okay.
with the help of
And
ICS.
right. So you're basically an engineering company, right?
Yeah, engineering consulting plus construction company. We basically work on a slope protection mitigation solution.
Okay,
Disaster mitigation, you can say.
okay, fine. Okay, right. So Anchal, you from ICS, okay. Anchal, you're also a lead auditor? Okay, yes, okay, yes, okay. Anchal is also a lead auditor, right? What about others? Harish, Neerav, Shraddha. Okay. So as we start, let me share with you, like when we talk about medical devices. So medical device means anything when you enter a hospital, anything which you see is being used for the patient, that will be categorized as a medical device. So right from the time when you enter an hospital, you see that there may be a wheelchair, there may be equipments, there may be things like so as you were saying that there may be things like wheelchairs, you may see any kind of hospital furniture, stretch. You enter any kind of a ward, you see all the kind of machines which are lying on the side of the patient, the bed on which the patient is lying. Plus, when you go to the operation theater, anything which is used in the operation theater, any kind of instruments which are being used. So if you look at the complete list of devices, there may be around, as you look at the WHO list, the WHO list has around 1.5 lakh devices listed, which are categorized as medical devices. So there is a huge list of equipment and items when we say, and when we talk about medical devices. And can you name some medical devices when I say which will be used in the operation theater? You can just put on the chat box. Anyone? It's open.
Different type of lights.
Great. Gloves is there. Injections, blades. Okay. What else? What is used for the patients? I gave you a few examples. all that's part of operation theater, monitoring machines, okay. Yes. So when you say in operation theater, lights are there. Yes, Rohini, Harish, Atul, Nirav, Suraj. Okay. So let me share my screen. Okay, so I hope you can see the screen now. You can just put on the chat box yes or no. Okay. Screen. What about others? Milind, okay, thank you. Abhishek. Yes. So it looks like we have name, Milind, Abhishek. They can see.
Yes, sir. I can also see.
Yes, thank you. Ramik, okay. Great. Sunam, okay, you can see. Okay, fine. So I understand like most of you are able to see. So let's move ahead. Anchal, thank you for confirming. So like as we say that or as we're talking about we're talking about 14971. You can stop me wherever you have a question so we can discuss. So when we say 14971, this is a standard for applying the risk management. When we say risk management, that means anything that can go wrong with the product, that will be risk. That is the risk to the product. And this particular document has been prepared by TC210. The previous standard was the 2007 version, which is now replaced by, you can see this is now the 2019 version here. Here that this is 2019. So when we talk about risk for medical devices, now risk is basically a component of two things. One is a probability of occurrence of harm, and second is the consequence that if some one. So first question, whenever you're looking at anything, that what is the probability that this might happen, and then if it happens, what could be the consequence, right? So if I say that okay, the probability. So if I if I could what could be the challenges with the syringe? All of you have seen the syringe, right? If I am putting the question, what could go with syringe? So you can put your answers on the chat box. So all of us understand like what is a syringe, right? So if I say what could go wrong with the syringe? Okay, Anchal, infection. Yes. So what could or what kind of infection, Anchal? If you can be more precise. Name, yes, needle break. And needle break could be one of the major reasons. In fact, how could a needle break in a syringe? Name, if you can just elaborate. Yes, contamination could be one. Needle break could be another. Infection could be the third one. Okay, what else? If fallen down, needle will break. Okay. Yes, Suraj, that can be one.
In infection, sir, the needle should be like very hygienic thing. It should not be used before like.
Yeah, so there could be cross contamination. Yes, that is good. What else could be a problem with the syringe? Can you think of anything else beyond needle breakage?
If somebody is not handling properly, then if someone touches that, so it may cause a very huge risk or harm to others also.
Yes. So in fact, needle breakage, needle stick injuries, and cross contamination due to mishandling of a syringe has caused a lot of issues, like even when the paramedical staff gets infected because of touching any kind of needles, right? Suppose there is a patient who's HIV positive, and you just took a sample, and unfortunately the needle touched the hand of the paramedic.
He
So
will
there
also
is
get
all
the same.
possible. He will also get the same disease, right?
Yeah.
So although syringe per se looks to be a very simple device, but there could be a lot of issues with cross contamination, a lot of issues with crossover of the disease. Okay. What about things like leakage? Suppose you're filling the syringe and there is some leakage, the stopper or the plunger is not mounted properly into the barrel, then there might also be leakage and you may not be able to load the syringe properly. So the paramedic cannot administer the dose of the medicine properly, right? So considering this as an example, okay, let us take one more. What you must all of have seen the digital thermometer. Yes or no?
Yes, I had seen.
Right? All of us have seen, right? It is something which is a blessing, isn't it?
Before COVID also I had seen it.
Yes, so during COVID, all of us have seen, right? The digital thermometers. So all of us have seen during COVID times that there were digital thermometer that everyone has at his home. So now you tell me, if I ask you, what could go wrong with a digital thermometer?
That mercury, if we swallow, it will harm also.
Who is this? Can you name
Sorry,
this?
digital
डिजिटल
thermometer. Correct.
थर्मोमीटर
Yeah.
मर्क्यूरी नहीं रहता ना.
यस डिजिटल
Sorry,
में
sorry, sorry.
थर्मोमीटर नहीं रहेगा, वो मरकरी नहीं रहेगा ना.
पर वो
So we
क्या
are
होगा,
talking,
वो अगर जो इंडिकेटर है वो हर बार हाई रीडिंग ही बताएगा तो.
yes, and just imagine कि अगर आपने गलत डिजिटल थर्मोमीटर क्लिनिक में पढ़ा हुआ है and during COVID suppose a normal patient enters and thermometer is showing high temperature, तो क्या होगा? What
उसको
could be the
कोविड
repercussions?
बता दिया जाएगा और उसको आगे का प्रोसीजर फॉलो.
Yes, yeah, and he has to follow the procedure, right? So these when you consider these aspects, that is the reason, yeah, good milling calibration issue, wrong medication, yes. Then so see, these are the reasons why we are talking about risk, because So when we're talking about any medical device which can cause failure or which could result to a failure, and the more important thing is, if one digital thermometer in any clinic is, let us say, checking 50 patients every day, so what could be the issue if all 50 are given wrong medication? So you can see that one small error or one small device can lead to a large patient population which goes ill-treated or where there is a wrong diagnosis, right? So that is the reason we talk about risk or what can go wrong with any medical device. And that is what 14971 is all about. It is helping you to identify the risks. It is helping you to manage the risks. And once you've identified, you try to mitigate them through some solutions, which can be engineering solutions, which can be related to uh, any kind of design related updation. If it is a software, it can be anything related to softwares, right? But you have to understand that, okay, how it can go wrong. And for any particular medical device, then another important aspect that we should not be forgetting is that there are regulations and these medical devices are regulated. So if you are a manufacturer and anything has gone wrong with the medical device, then there could be some legal issues also. And can you name the body in the chat box which is controlling medical devices in India? You can put your answer on the chat box. Good, Anchal. Okay. Yes. So, yes, CDSU. Good, Milan. So as we see that the other bodies are there who control various things. So we have similar body like CDSU in India, which is controlling medical devices, and which is a body which controls drugs, pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
So when we say that medical devices are controlled by CDSU, which body controls pharmaceuticals?
FDA.
Okay. See, again, it is CDSU only because now CDSU is a central regulatory body. So whether it comes to pharma or it is medical, the centralized body, the regulatory body is CDSU, which is controlling, right? So when we are talking about any kind of risk, as we talked about digital thermometers, we try to identify it, we try to mitigate it, and then if there is something which we call as residual risk, that a device may be released into the market.
Whether it is software made report or our own practical typed report, whatever report is there, this report must contain all those points as per 6.5.1. There are A से लेके A तक प्लस नीचे भी है, ये सब अपना रिपोर्ट में आना पड़ेगा. So that is why every time accreditation bodies will find out something from you that आप ये ऐड नहीं किया, वो ऐड नहीं किया, so they always have some sort of issues on this audit report. That's why audit reports always get revised in many certification bodies. So right now, I think ICS has got a software software for this. But even software, the accreditation body may find out some issues with this in a time. Okay. But definitely it has to contain all this A to K plus whatever the highlighted also. Yeah, and let me say from my experience, I work for ICS, I work for IRQS, and some of this certification body like BSI, they have a report of 52 pages. Can you tell you that? 52 pages, sir. So there are a lot of stuff, standard wordings are there, and lamba chauda graph.
Hello. Hello, I'm audible, sir. Bhupesh, sir.
Yes, I am hearing Dr. Sundar.
Yeah. Yes, sir, you can continue, sir. Sorry for any inconvenience, sir.
Okay, okay, no problem, no problem. Okay,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so you can see the screen now, all of you, right? So just continuing that,
Yes, sir.
when we talk about 14971, this is like a 10 clause standard. Like many of you are already into auditing, you see like ISO 9000 has got 10 clauses, 14,000 has got 10 clauses. Similarly, ISO 14971 has also got 10 clauses. So this is the scope of ISO 14971, which says that this particular standard is applicable to all the stages or all the phases in the life cycle of a medical device. Now, when we say life cycle of a medical device, it means right from conception to disposal. So it is not about when it reaches the hospital and when it is put in the dustbin. So when we say all the life cycle of a medical device, that means from the time it is thought of or designed. So that means right from the design phase, you also try to consider or the risk analysis part. And then once you're done with that, then right from design to commercialization, then during the entire shelf life of the product, and then at the later stage about what happens when the thing is disposed of. So ISO 14971 will always cover all the stages. Then there are some definitions. You can say hazard, harm, hazardous definitions. I believe, like if you say that, okay, what could be the hazard? So in terms of a syringe, if I would ask you, you can put on the chat box. What are the hazards or harm you can think of when any syringe is being used? If I say, let's look in the chat box. What issues you can think of or what hazards and harms you can think of when we are using a syringe? So now unauthorized use, are you talking about syringes? Syringes where there is nothing like unauthorized use. As contaminated and can infect the user, yes, Anshul, you are correct. Okay, so when you, okay, use by untrained person, yes, that is good. So when we say untrained manpower, that is like lay persons that we talk about. And so any kind of hazards, just situations that you can think of, like we were talking about broken needle, yes, Anchal, you're good. So when we are talking about any kind of hazardous situation, so that is what 14971 says, that you work out on these situations, identify the situations, try to mitigate these situations, and then try to uh, release the product in the market. So intended use of any medical device, this is an important aspect whenever you are talking about a medical device. This is the first fundamental that you should know or you should be working upon. What is the intended use of a medical device? So basically, when we say intended use, that means what is it basically being used for medical device? And when you're talking about risk analysis, this is one aspect which you should be considering, that is a use error. So when we say use error, that means lack of action by any particular person which is using the medical device, right? So whenever you are making in any company, whenever you are designing your risk management process, you have to make sure that you make a protocol or design a protocol. And once the protocol is made, then you have to make sure that you follow the protocol and all the steps are covered. So like you say, the basic steps will be risk analysis, risk evaluation, and then once you analyzed, you evaluated, then you put up the control measures. So this is what you can see on your screen, that these are the basic steps as we talk about 14971, which starts with risk analysis. So once you have analyzed the risk, then comes your risk evaluation. Once the team has done the risk evaluation, then there will be a step of risk control. Once you have done the risk controls, then you have to identify what is the residual risk. That means what is the risk which still remains. And then a risk management review. So when we say risk management review, this is a stage where you will think of whether you would like to release the product or not. And once you have decided that the product has to be released in the market, then there are post-production reviews, what you learn from your product in the market, what you learn from the competitor's product in the market. So for the entire steps, right from stage 1 to stage last, right? As we say that from risk analysis to post-production. So we have to make sure that we make a plan, which is a risk management plan. Okay, so when we say risk management plan, so this is like a protocol, and protocol will cover all the steps, right? So what as an organization you will do for the analysis, how we will evaluate the risk, how we will control the risk, and then once the risk is controlled, how we will find out that what is the residual risk. And once you done that, what is the residual risk, you will do a post-production review. Then management responsibilities. So basically top management is in any organization, whenever it is coming to risk analysis, they are the ones who are key people who are responsible. Although people down the line will be implementing the risks, but management is primarily responsible for the risk management. Then 4.3 says that people who are doing or managing the risk, they have to be competent. So we should know that who are the people who are doing risk analysis, who are managing the risk, who are analyzing the risk, and then who are deciding that how the product will be released. If you feel that the product has to be released before or with some residual risk, then this is the competence of the team who will decide what to do and what not to do. So if there is any question, you can always stop me. Otherwise, we are just moving ahead. So like I told you that we have to make a risk management plan, and we have to make sure that this plan covers all the steps. So when we just looked at this slide, a risk management plan. So here you can see I told you that the risk management plan has to cover all these steps, right? Right from the beginning till the end. So risk management plan, as I told you, will cover all the parts. Then all the stages of a risk management plan means all the data that you've gathered at each stage. This will form part of the risk management file. So as a third party or as an auditor, whenever we are auditing, we have to make sure that the client has maintained this file so that you are aware of the requirements. And you can see that how the risk evaluation was done, what was the competence of the team who have done the risk analysis. And then finally, before the product was released, was the residual risk identified? And if the residual risk was identified, then how it was shared with the team or shared with the patients. Then as we say, the risk analysis, and we talked about that, we have to make sure that we have an appropriate team to do the risk analysis, and different level of people may have to get involved at each stage of the risk analysis. So based upon whether it is a design stage, what is the choice of raw material stage, whether we are talking about developing of prototypes, whether we are talking about assembling the product, whether we are talking about dispatching the product. So at different stages, different people may be involved who are able to identify the related risks for the medical devices. So intended use we discussed, we see foreseeable misuses, that as a manufacturer, you also have to understand that what could be the reasons or how this could be misused. So as a team which is responsible for risk analysis in any organization, you also have to see why or how my product could be misused. Now, if I say that, okay, there is something which is used to warm the things, then there might be something, there might be some equipment or some items which may not be related to the operations, but then it is used. Like, let us say if we have a scalpel blade, what else could be used for a scalpel blade, which is normally used in operation theaters? What could be the other misuse of this scalpel blade? Can you put on the chat box? Let us see if you can think of the risks, the foreseeable misuse when we are talking about a scalpel blade. So what could be the misuse? Okay, so just to help you out, like a scalpel could be alternatively used for, let us say, cutting the things, cutting the paper. It can be used for cutting something for which it is not meant for. Right, so that is a way you have to think. Then risk estimation, you have to identify that what would be the level of risk. So like we do risk analysis in other ISO standards, here again we have to develop a risk identification and evaluation matrix, where you do the or assign the numbers and try to identify. Then you do the risk evaluation. So as a team which is responsible, you will evaluate whether this risk could be a small risk, a big risk. Now, if it is a big risk, then I have to take appropriate measures accordingly. So risk evaluation is done. And based on the evaluation, we will go for the risk control measures. So once you evaluate it, let us say, like we were talking about digital thermometers, that one of the risks could be that it is not displaying the readings properly. So this is a risk. Now, what could be the mitigation plan? That we design the circuit of a digital thermometer in such a manner that it doesn't fail, or it doesn't, or it is able to display the reading properly, even if the hardware is broken, or if the body of the thermometer is broken. So still it is able to control the things. So once you identified what are the risk controls, you will implement them. Suppose it's a design control, it's an engineering control, or you think that, okay, some kind of software needs to be implemented within the system. Then once you've controlled all the risks, still it will have some risks. Like suppose if I say a syringe has you've designed the syringe, it is as per the norms, but The residual risk is that if even if the package breaks or if any untrained person is using it, then there is every possibility that he will injure the patient also, and he will injure himself also. So that is what is a residual risk. So when we say that there is a residual risk, we have to identify and make sure that residual risks are identified. The patients are made aware of the residual risk so that you can take appropriate measures. And as a management, you have to decide whether I want to release the product as a medical device or I still want to work on that. So in the risk management file, as I told you, that there is in the end, we write the benefit risk analysis. So benefit risk analysis is an input to the person who are releasing the product that they should release or they should not release if there are issues. Then we have evaluation of the overall residual risk, which means that if there is any kind of residual risk which still remains, then we do a residual risk analysis. So time to time, we are doing a risk management review. We are trying to understand that whatever risk was identified in the previous cycle, whether you want to continue with the same risk, or suppose some competitor product has failed, then you might like to update any kind of things. So that is what we talk about, the risk management review. So based on the protocol, based on the protocol, it will be reviewed and released. Then we have the production and post-production. That means that if you are, once you've released the product in the market for commercial use, so that time, if you can also monitor the product and see if any updation needs to be done in the risk management plan, risk management rating. So that is like an overall cycle in an overview about the risk management plan, which comes on various stages. As we talked about, you can see here that we talked about. Now so this is like a bird's eye view. Where you start the risk analysis, you evaluate it, then you control it, evaluate the overall residual risk. You have a risk management review. And once you've done the risk management review, then you do a post-product release. And then these slides, you can refer to. These slides can help you to identify some related standards that whenever you're doing a risk analysis for any kind of products, what could be the applicable standards? So this is just for your ready reference. Some of the standards which are used along with the kind of the device that you are using. Okay. So open to questions now. So I've just stopped sharing. So if you have, anybody has any questions, any inputs, any concerns, you can ask me.
Sir, there is a question in the chat box from Achal Madam. Is the manufacturer responsible for the training user? Of the device syringe? Hello, I'm audible, sir?
Yes. Anchal, I can see this question from Anchal. So yes, Anchal, the manufacturer is responsible. That is the reason there are things like instructions for use which are on the packet. Then many medical device manufacturers, they make some kind of videos, they train the paramedic staff, they will hold workshops from time to time. Any medical device manufacturer, it is his responsibility to make sure that they do some effort to train the staff also. and train the team also. Because
Sir, we've taken an example of the very easy product which everyone could understand, that is the syringe.
right,
Now the syringe, we expect that everyone in a hospital or a doctors, you could go to a nursing home and everything. Everywhere we are, the user is well knowledgeable of how to use the product. Now, when we identify as untrained personnel using the product, is that responsibility of the manufacturer or the user?
yeah, see, now from the manufacturer perspective, whenever you see the packet or the container which is having that product, it will always say to be used by trained people only, right? So that will save the manufacturer. Now, if the hospital is giving the instruments to any untrained manpower, then it is responsibility of the hospital also, because there are some basic competence levels which are expected. Like if you say that the person who uses X-ray machine, it is not that anybody in the hospital can be put in the X-ray room to take the X-rays, right? So there are specifically trained radiologists who will be using those machines. So then you cannot say that it is the responsibility of the manufacturer, although he has to educate the people who are buying these machines, that make sure that you have competent people to use these machines or run these machines.
Sir, I have one question
Yeah,
related to that syringe stuff for doctor will use, but like digital thermometer, it is used by household people also.
right,
And if electronic parts are concerned, then you have to store it properly. Means it should not be stored in sunlight or like this.
right,
It will be above certain temperature. It will not work.
right,
So
okay.
in that case, these instructions are not seen on boxes, and our general peoples are not so educated that they will read and follow that all thing. So
Yes.
in that case, what manufacturers are doing?
See, I may not be able to answer you for all the manufacturers, but what I'm saying is that when we are looking at medical devices which are used for commercial use in the hospital and the medical devices which are used at home, where is the more risk?
At hospital.
It is the other way around. The more risk is at home.
Okay. Home.
Yes. See, that is the reason that it is easier to make a medical device for the hospital, because in hospital there will always be trained staff. But like you rightly said, that suppose in your house, your wife may be there, your children may be there, who are untrained, who don't have no knowledge about the medical device, but they're using the medical device. So it is a manufacturer's responsibility to make sure that they make fail-safe devices for domestic use. See, that is the reason that there are so many things when we are talking about medical devices which are still not being taken care of by a lot of manufacturers. They don't understand that, suppose, let us say one more example, let us say a BP machine, right? Many of us, our parents are maybe using a BP machine at home. But suppose if the BP machine is not giving correct reading, then who is responsible?
Yes, difficult to
Right.
answer, sir.
Yes.
Difficult to
Now,
answer.
it may be in the hospital, it may be easier because the person knows, and it will be easy for him to identify that BP machine is not working. But your parents or maybe wife or maybe somebody else in the home to identify that BP machine is not properly. So devices which are for home use have to be designed more cautiously and more seriously and in a more detailed manner, has to be tested in more depth as compared to things which are made for hospitals and commercial use. So you have to do more or a deeper risk analysis when you're saying that my device is for home use.
Sir, I want to know one thing. Like this BP machine and thermometer, sir, electronic part. In case means if you know that if they are making new product, they are taking care of past failures also.
Right. Yes, they are taking. That is the reason I in the risk management, if you remember, the last section was post-production activities, and in medical devices, there is a concept of post-market surveillance, and there is a specific standard also, ISO 20416, which these manufacturers have to follow when they are placing the product in the market. So in medical devices, 13485 is not only the standard which is to be followed by the manufacturers. So 13485 is the first standard which is used for the manufacturers. Then add-on will be the regulatory standards. Then there will be product related standards, risk management, and post-market surveillance. So there are at least 7 to 8 standards which he has to follow, even if he is making a simple device like a digital thermometer or a BP machine.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right? Okay. Okay. So anyone else who has a question? Ramni, Katul, Suraj, Neetu, Pooja, Pranali. Pranali, what do you do? Mansi, Pranali, Rohini.
Yes, sir. I have one question.
Yes, Mr. Ramni.
Yeah. At the time of risk identify, probability level is high before implement the control measure. And after implement the control measure, we can we reduce the severity level?
See, you will, there are two thought processes, I'll say. One thought process is you should not reduce the severity. You can reduce the probability.
Yes.
Right? Because suppose you have identified that severity is death. Right? You cannot say that because I have implemented a control measure, now the death will not be there.
Exactly. Yes.
But there is another thought process which says that if you have implemented the controls, death could be averted, right? So it will depend on case to case.
Okay.
So you cannot, because I know that why you're asking this question, because there is a thought process where people say that you should not be reducing the severity, you should only reduce the probability.
Probability, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
That was the reason you're asking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ramnik, I understand you are from that contraceptive making, right, company?
Yeah, we are contraceptive making, just copper T380 and tubal rings.
Okay, great. So you're already following this, right? 13485, 14971.
Yeah, we are already following.
Right. Okay. So any more? Akshita, Suraj, Shraddha.
Sir, this I want to ask one question. Other than this topic, like medical devices, this disposal part is come under producer, or is producer responsibility, or it will means user responsibility? How it is?
See, when you're talking about
Because there is plastic and other hazardous things are there.
Yeah. So see, when you're talking about disposal like a biomedical waste, right? Hospital. So
Yes,
as a
yes,
hospital,
yes.
I may be responsible for the safe disposal so that it doesn't affect the mass population. Suppose it is a biohazardous kind of a thing or something, right? We make sure that it is given to the proper people. Now, when I'm saying about the life cycle of a medical device, so what 14971 says that when you choose the raw material, right? When you design the product in itself at the design phase, right? So at that very phase, you should try to choose the materials or the raw materials in such a fashion that your device causes minimum impact to the environment. as of now, there is a lot of challenges when we are talking about, especially the disposable medical devices, like you say, an infusion set, a syringe, all kind of catheters, all kind of tubings, which are used in as medical devices. Let us say tubings for dialysis, all kind of catheters, when they are disposed. Because from the patient perspective, they are good to use, but from environment perspective, that is like a huge medical waste pile which is gathering, and still there is no come out of it.
Okay, sir.
Right? Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? So Vaibhav, over to you.
Hello, thank you, sir, for explaining topic in simplifying way and for the presentation. I request all the participants and delegates, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and ask directly to the sir, or you can put your questions in the chat box. I think, sir, there is no more questions, so can we move ahead, sir?
Yes, Vaibhav. Yes.
So our next session is on 20th of April. ICS is pleased to provide you all its research and development, integrated management system, QMS, EMS, and OHSS, excellence in education management system, ISO made easy in Gujarati, Marathi, Telugu, and Hindi. For reading any of the above books, please contact me, Sushma Tindal, on the given contact details. Feedback form, please register on www.sadgunsang.org and go in your login and give your valued feedback to us. So thank you, Bhupesh sir. Thank you all the participants and delegates for being the part of Sadgun Sangh. And now it's time to officially close the session. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhupesh. It was really very great.